I was a struggling mechanic in Lagos, raising my 8-year-old daughter alone, but I never expected a wrong number text begging for surgery money would connect me to Korea's youngest female billionaire. What started as my most desperate moment became a journey that would change both our lives forever. The fluorescent bulb flickered above Kwame Okafor's grease-stained workbench as he tightened the last bolt on a Toyota Camry's engine. Sweat dripped from his forehead onto the concrete floor of his small auto repair shop in Seoul, Lagos. The wall clock showed 9:47 p.m., another 16-hour day trying to make ends meet. His phone buzzed. The caller ID made his stomach clench. Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Mr. Okafor? Dr. Adebayo's voice carried the weight of bad news. We need to discuss Amara's condition immediately. Kwame's wrench slipped from his trembling fingers. What's wrong? Is she okay? Her heart is deteriorating faster than we anticipated. The ventricular septal defect has worsened significantly. We cannot wait any longer for the surgery. The shop's walls seem to close in around him. How much time do we have? 48 hours, maximum. The procedure costs 2.5 million naira. Without it. The doctor's pause spoke volumes. Kwame sank onto his wooden stool, phone pressed against his ear. His entire savings account held 47,000 naira, barely enough for groceries, let alone life-saving surgery. Doctor, please, give me 2 more days. I'll find the money somehow. Mr. Okafor, I understand your situation, but medical emergencies don't negotiate with financial constraints. Amara needs this surgery now. The line went dead. Kwame stared at his phone, scrolling through his contacts with desperate fingers. His brother in Abuja, struggling himself. His late wife's family, they'd already helped beyond their means. The church, they'd collected what little they could months ago. But what I did next would change everything. Kwame's hands shook as he searched through a stack of old business cards scattered across his desk. Somewhere in this mess was Engineer Bello's number, the contractor who'd promised to help if things got truly desperate. The card's edge was torn, the ink smudged from years in his wallet. The last 3 digits were illegible. At 11:23 p.m. Lagos time, desperation overrode caution. Kwame guessed at the numbers and typed, "Please, sir, I know we haven't spoken in years, but my daughter is dying. I need 2.5 million for heart surgery. She is only 8 years old. I will work for free for 10 years to pay you back. Please, I have nowhere else to turn." He hit send before doubt could stop him. 8,000 miles away in Seoul, Min-jun Park sat in her glass-walled penthouse office, city lights glittering below like fallen stars. At 28, she commanded a tech empire worth billions, but tonight she felt utterly alone. Her father's memorial portrait watched from the mahogany desk, the man who died waiting for medical care while she was building her fortune in Silicon Valley. Her phone chimed at 3:17 a.m. Unknown international number. Min-jun's English was flawless, but the message's raw desperation transcended language barriers. She read it twice, her heart racing. The broken grammar couldn't hide the father's anguish bleeding through every word. She researched Lagos hospitals on her laptop, Nigeria's healthcare system, pediatric cardiac surgery costs. Everything matched the message's details. Her assistant would call this reckless. Her board would demand explanations. But Min-jun remembered her father's final days. How money became meaningless when time ran out. At 3:47 a.m. Seoul time, she typed back, "Hello, I think you have the wrong number, but I received your message about your daughter. My name is Min-jun Park. Please tell me about Amara." In Lagos, Kwame's phone buzzed as dawn approached. He expected rejection, anger, maybe silence. Instead, he found something impossible, hope from a stranger. Little did I know that at 3 a.m. in Seoul, a woman who could buy anything had just read about something money couldn't fix. If this story of an impossible connection across continents is touching you, wait until you see what happens next. Kwame stared at his phone screen, reading the message for the 5th time. A Korean name he couldn't pronounce had just acknowledged his daughter's crisis. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, pride warring with desperation. "Oh no, I'm so sorry to disturb you, madam. I was trying to reach an old friend. Please forgive my mistake." Min-jun's response came within minutes. "Please don't apologize. Tell me about Amara." 3 floors above Seoul's financial district, Min-jun paced her apartment's marble floors. Her team would arrive in 4 hours, but sleep was impossible. She pulled up medical websites, cross-referencing Nigerian hospitals with international cardiac surgery standards. Her phone rang. Video call from Lagos. Kwame's weathered face appeared on screen, exhaustion etched in every line. Behind him, medical equipment hummed in a sterile hospital room where a small girl slept peacefully, unaware that strangers across the world were discussing her future. "This is Amara," Kwame whispered, adjusting the camera. "She's been fighting since birth." Min-jun's breath caught. The child looked exactly like her cousin's daughter. The same age, similar features, identical peaceful expression, despite the medical chaos surrounding her. "My father died of a heart condition 5 years ago," Min-jun said quietly. "He waited too long for treatment while I was busy building my company overseas." Kwame's eyes widened. "I'm sorry for your loss, Ma. He always said wealth means nothing if you can't protect the people you love. I failed him, but maybe I don't have to fail Amara." They talked for 2 hours. Kwame shared Amara's medical history, the diagnosis at 6 months, the progressive deterioration, the mounting hospital bills that consumed every naira he earned. Min-jun described her father's similar struggle, how Korea's medical system had improved too late for him. "Mr. Kwame, I want to help, but I need you to understand. This isn't charity. This is one parent honoring another parent's love." Kwame's voice cracked. "I don't know how to thank you. Just let her live a full life. That's thanks enough." But Min-jun's next message would test whether kindness could bridge 8,000 miles. By 6 a.m. Seoul time, Min-jun's executive assistant Jennifer Kim was fielding the most unusual requests of her career. "You want me to verify a medical case in Nigeria? Ma'am, with respect, this could be an elaborate scam." Min-jun didn't look up from her computer screen, which displayed Lagos University Teaching Hospital's website. "And if it's not, a child dies while we debate authenticity. The board meeting is in 3 hours. They'll have questions about unauthorized international transfers. Then they can ask me directly." Jennifer sighed, recognizing her boss's tone. "What exactly do you need?" "Contact the hospital. Verify Amara Okafor's condition and surgery requirements. Get me Dr. Adebayo's credentials. Cross-reference Kwame Okafor's identity with Lagos business records. And Jennifer?" "Yes, ma'am." "Do it quietly. No media, no publicity. This is personal." 2 hours later, Jennifer returned with a thick folder. "Everything checks out. Dr. Adebayo is legitimate, 30 years experience, trained at Johns Hopkins. Amara's condition is exactly as described. Kwame Okafor owns a small auto repair business, clean record, respected in his community." Min-jun nodded. "The surgery?" "Scheduled for tomorrow if payment is confirmed today. They've already prepared the surgical team." At 9 a.m. sharp, Min-jun faced her board of directors. 12 men in expensive suits who'd built fortunes on calculated risks, not emotional impulses. "You're proposing to wire 2.5 million naira to a complete stranger in Lagos?" Board member Chairman Lee's skepticism was palpable. "I'm proposing to save a child's life." "Min-jun, we appreciate your humanitarian instincts, but corporate funds require board approval for international transactions of this magnitude." Min-jun smiled coolly. "Good thing I'm using personal funds then." The room fell silent. Her personal wealth exceeded most small countries' GDP. "This sets a dangerous precedent," another member warned. "Once word spreads that you respond to random requests for money, then maybe more children will live to see their 9th birthdays." Min-jun stood. "Gentlemen, I built this company to solve problems. Today, I'm solving one that matters." She walked out before anyone could object. At 10:47 a.m. Seoul time, Kwame's phone buzzed with a bank notification. International wire transfer received 2,500,000. The wire transfer was ready, but what happened next surprised everyone. Dr. Adebayo couldn't hide his amazement as he reviewed the surgical approval forms. "Mr. Okafor, in 30 years of practice, I've never seen anything like this. Your benefactor has also arranged for Dr. Sarah Kim from Seoul National University Hospital to consult via video during the surgery." Kwame shook his head in disbelief. "She's doing more than paying. She's making sure Amara gets the best possible care." That evening, Min-jun initiated another video call. This time, Amara was awake, her bright eyes curious about the woman on the phone screen. Are you the angel lady Daddy told me about? Amara asked in English, her words careful but clear. Min-jun laughed. The first genuine laugh she'd had in months. I'm just a friend. What's your favorite color, Amara? Purple, like the flowers in our compound. In Korea, we have purple flowers too. Maybe someday you can visit and see them. Amara clapped her hands. Can you teach me Korean words? For the next hour, Min-jun taught Amara basic Korean phrases, while Kwame watched his daughter's face light up with joy. Despite the medical equipment surrounding her, Amara was still a child, curious, eager, full of life. Onni, Amara repeated carefully, practicing the Korean word for older sister. Perfect pronunciation, Min-jun praised. You're a natural linguist. Later, when Amara dozed off, Kwame and Min-jun continued talking. She learned about his late wife, the challenges of single parenthood, his dreams of expanding his repair shop. He learned about her father's influence, the loneliness of success, her search for meaning beyond profit margins. You know, Kwame said thoughtfully, I've been working on automotive electronics for years, self-taught, mostly from YouTube videos and salvage parts. I've developed some interesting solutions for our challenging conditions here. Min-jun leaned forward, intrigued. What kind of solutions? Solar-powered diagnostic systems, humidity-resistant circuitry, engines modified for poor fuel quality. Nigeria's infrastructure forces creativity. My company's automotive division has been struggling with emerging market applications. We need exactly that kind of innovation. Are you offering me a job? Kwame asked, half joking. I'm offering a partnership. Your ground-level expertise, our resources. We could revolutionize automotive technology for developing nations. Kwame stared at the screen. 12 hours ago, he was a desperate father. Now, a Korean billionaire was discussing business partnerships. But first, Min-jun continued, let's get Amara healthy. Everything else can wait. As surgery day arrived, both families had become something neither expected. At 5:30 a.m. Lagos time, Min-jun's private jet touched down at Murtala Muhammad International Airport. She'd made the decision spontaneously. Some moments required physical presence, not digital connection. Kwame waited in the hospital's family lounge, still processing the text he'd received an hour earlier. Landing now. Couldn't let Amara face this alone. When Min-jun walked through the hospital doors, Kwame barely recognized the composed figure from their video calls. Travel-worn but determined, she carried herself with quiet strength rather than billionaire authority. You came, he whispered, standing to greet her. Children shouldn't fight battles alone. Neither should their fathers. Dr. Adebayo emerged from the surgical prep room. We're ready to begin. The Korean consultant is standing by via satellite link. This is the most internationally coordinated surgery we've ever performed. Amara was wheeled past on a gurney, drowsy from pre-medication but alert enough to spot Min-jun. Onni, you really came, she called out, using the Korean word she'd practiced. Min-jun took her small hand. I promised, didn't I? When you wake up, we'll teach each other more words.
The next 6 hours blurred together. Kwame and Min-jun sat side by side in the waiting area, sharing stories about their daughters. One fighting for life, the other thousands of miles away missing her mother's business trips. Nigerian families began recognizing Min-jun from news photos. Instead of celebrity treatment, they welcomed her as another worried parent. Women shared food, men offered prayers. Children drew pictures for Amara's recovery. This is what I've been missing, Min-jun told Kwame. Community. Purpose beyond profit margins. At 3:17 p.m., Dr. Adebayo emerged, still in surgical scrubs but smiling broadly. The surgery was completely successful. Amara's heart is strong and healthy. She'll need recovery time, but she should live a completely normal life. Kwame collapsed into Min-jun's arms, both crying with relief. Around them, the entire waiting room erupted in celebration. Strangers who'd spent hours praying for a child they'd never met. But the real transformation was just beginning. 3 months later, Amara ran through Min-jun's Seoul office building, her surgical scar barely visible beneath a purple dress. Kwame followed, marveling at the engineering marvels surrounding him. But his attention focused on the automotive research lab Min-jun had constructed based on his suggestions. The humidity simulation chamber works perfectly, Dr. Park, the lead engineer, reported. Kwame's corrosion-resistant coating formula has exceeded all expectations. Min-jun watched Kwame explain tropical automotive challenges to her Korean engineers, his expertise commanding respect regardless of his lack of formal education. She'd established the Amara Foundation 3 weeks after the surgery, providing medical funding for African children while developing local technological solutions. Daddy's teaching them about fixing cars in the rain, Amara announced, having learned enough Korean to serve as unofficial translator between the technical teams. And you're teaching our executives that business success means helping families, not just shareholders, Min-jun replied, lifting Amara onto her shoulders. The partnership had evolved beyond anyone's expectations. Kwame's Lagos workshop now served as West African headquarters for automotive innovation. Young Nigerian engineers trained with Korean technology, while Korean designers learned resourcefulness from Nigerian constraints. We've received 43 similar medical requests this month, Jennifer reported during their weekly foundation meeting. All verified, all urgent. Min-jun nodded. Fund them all. And Jennifer, start training local coordinators in each region. This shouldn't depend on emergency texts from desperate parents. Kwame's repair shop had expanded into a technical training center, teaching young Nigerians advanced automotive skills while developing solutions for challenging African conditions. His success funded medical treatments for 12 other children in Lagos alone. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd typed the right number, Kwame mused during their weekly video call. Now a cherished routine for both families. Then a little girl would be healthy, but 2 families wouldn't have found their purpose, Min-jun replied. What started with a wrong number had become something the world needed to hear. Today, the Amara Foundation operates in 37 countries, bridging medical emergencies with technological innovation. Kwame's automotive solutions power vehicles across Africa, while Min-jun's company has redirected 40% of its resources toward humanitarian technology. Amara, now 9 years old, serves as the foundation's youngest ambassador, fluent in Korean, Yoruba, and English. She speaks at conferences about the power of accidental connections, reminding audiences that desperation can become hope when strangers choose compassion. My daddy says wrong numbers sometimes call the right people, she told the United Nations Children's Fund Assembly last month. Maybe we should all be willing to answer calls from people we don't know. The story has inspired thousands of similar connections. Wrong number texts becoming lifelines, cultural barriers dissolving through shared humanity, wealth redirected toward healing rather than hoarding. Kwame and Min-jun discovered that 8,000 miles disappear when hearts connect across circumstances. Their friendship transformed not just their own lives, but created ripples of change that continue expanding globally. Sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right call. Sometimes a stranger's desperation becomes your greatest opportunity to make a difference. And sometimes 8,000 miles apart, 2 people discover they're exactly what the other needed. In a world increasingly divided by borders, languages, and cultures, their story proves that love, especially parental love, speaks every language fluently. All it requires is someone willing to listen when desperation calls seeking hope. And sometimes that someone is waiting 8,000 miles away, ready to answer.